this is D, and I'm back with another video. Now, it's been a while because there hasn't been anything really to talk about, but today we have a juicy PlayStation 5 Pro spec leak. Now, these specifications, if they turn out to be true, the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to be a really high-performing machine. Now, according to the leak specs, we can expect 2 to 3 times better ray tracing performance. It looks like the CPU is going to give us a 45% increase in performance. Now, we've talked about the increase in performance from the CPU and that we needed it to be more than the leak specifications. Now, the leak specification said about 50%. Now, this is saying 45%, and that'll give us a little bit of a boost on PlayStation 5 games. Now, games that were running at 30 FPS should run at 45 FPS. Games that were running at 45 FPS unlocked on the PlayStation 5 should run at 60 FPS locked with no issues. Now, what about machine learning? This was also revealed today. Now, before I get into my thoughts on the specifications, let's go over to PCgamer.com, and like usual, I'll leave a link in the description down below so you guys can check it out for yourself. And all of this information is actually coming from Moore's Law is Dead. He did a podcast yesterday revealing the leaked PlayStation 5 Pro specifications that he got from his source. Now, a lot of stuff was redacted, and when I do put up his information on the screen today, it's gonna have all of his stamps on there, so you know that it came from him. So this is the information that is coming from Moore's Law is Dead, and I just want to credit the channel for it. Now let's go over to the PC Gamer article, and it goes on to say the original PlayStation 5 is getting a bit on these days. First launched back in November 2020, the console set tongues a wagging with its reasonably impressive spec sheet, including a fast SSD, a custom 8-core AMD Zen 2 CPU, and an RDNA 2 GPU that brought it up to the greater performance parity with gaming PCs at the time. While the latest leak of the upcoming PlayStation 5 Pro doesn't go into that sort of hardware specifications, although we have summarized rumored hardware specifications previously, it does reveal some potential performance numbers and upscaling features that might give us more of a clue of what Sony has been cooking up behind the scenes for this new model. Now, the latest information comes from YouTube channels Moore's Law is Dead, which has traditionally been a hit and miss when it comes to the accuracy of leaked information. Still, in a recent video, the channel reveals leaked documentation from Sony that supposedly reveals the existence of PlayStation Spectorial Super Resolution, PSSR, Sony's own in-house upscaling solution for the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, Moore's Law is Dead. You know, he gets some things right, he gets some things wrong. I will say, looking at the documents and taking them at face value, it does appear to be the real thing. Now, we know that the PlayStation 5 Pro, or it's been rumored that it is coming out later this year. We've heard reports that a lot of developers have it. We've heard reports from Tom Warren that Sony is worried and it thinks that the specifications will leak out because they've given these kits to different developers. Now, it took some time for the leak to come out, but here we are in March, and the console is going to be launching in November, and I gotta say, it's pretty reasonable to think that these specs are pretty accurate from this leak. Now, the documentation that I'll show you later on, it does look like it's official documentation. Now, back to the article. The article goes on to say the upscaler is described as a machine learning enhanced version of temporal anti-aliasing, TAO, to replace the game's existing temporal anti-aliasing or upsampling with similar inputs to DLSS or FSR. FSR does not do AI upscaling. DLSS does do AI upscaling. So it needs to be a little bit more detailed on this. Now, the documents say that they do have custom hardware for machine learning. And if this is an MPU, that would mean that the PlayStation 5 Pro will have AI upscaling, which will increase the FPS tremendously. Now, it goes on to say no per game training, and you need per game training with DLSS. So they're saying that the PlayStation 5 Pro will not need this for their machine learning. And they showed a side-by-side comparison of the PSSR, TAO, and FSR2, with PSSR said to look better than AMD's own upscaling solution. Now, on the screen right now, I'm going to put it up. Now, it's pretty blurred out because this is coming from Moore's Law is Dead, and he said he had to retract a lot of stuff to keep his source safe. So you really can't use this, but I'm just showing you that it is in the documentation from the leaked documents that the dev put out there. So I don't know what to say. You can't really tell a difference, but I will say this. If they're saying that it's better than FSR2, that would by definition mean that it's using AI upscaling, because I don't think Sony's going to come with a software solution that's going to be better than FSR2. Now, if they're putting custom hardware in there that has an MPU and they're using AI upscaling, then of course it would be much better than FSR2. Now, if you put FSR2 up against DLSS, which uses machine learning AI, you're going to see a big difference. So this is a little bit of a gray area. We don't have confirmation that the PlayStation 5 Pro has an MPU on it and that in fact it is going to be using the neural network for its AI upscaling, but it is kind of hinting to that. Now, the documentation also gives some expected comparative performance figures to the regular PlayStation 5, including the assertion of rendering is about 45% faster. Now, the 45% faster, I believe that is just on the CPU side. So without the amplifications that they're getting from the upscaling and from the better GPU, I think they're talking about the CPU's performance, and they're saying it's going to be about 45% faster. And that would kind of line up with the earlier leaked specs that said that the CPU would be 50% faster. Now, once again, 45 to 50% faster would give you roughly about 15 or so more frames. So once again, games that are struggling at 30 FPS would get up to 45 FPS. Games that are at 45, 46 FPS would get up to a 60 FPS. And this is really gonna matter when a game like GTA 6 comes out. Now, GTA 6 is locked at 30 FPS on the PlayStation. It's locked at 30 FPS on the Xbox. So the current generation consoles are running this at 30 FPS. Now, we don't know how much headroom there is there, but let's just assume there isn't any real headroom and they have to run these games at 30 FPS. In theory, this would mean that the PlayStation 5 Pro would run that game at about 45 FPS unlocked. So that's an improvement definitely over the PlayStation 5. I don't want to play GTA 6 at 30 FPS. I want to play it at 60 FPS. However, 45 FPS unlocked with VRR on a capable display is going to be a much better experience than the locked 30 FPS that you're going to get on the current generation consoles. Now, he also talked about the ray tracing performance. Now, the article says the ray tracing speed is 2 or 3 times faster than the older model, with up to 4 times improvement in some cases. Allegedly, the PlayStation 5 Pro's GPU has a 16-bit floating point calculation figure of 67 T-flops, which equates to an estimated 33.5 T-flops of FP32 compute performance. Now, 33.5 teraflops is a huge improvement over the PlayStation 5, which I believe has about 10 teraflops. The Xbox Series X has 12 teraflops. This PlayStation 5 Pro is going to have 33.5 T-flops of performance. That is a massive jump. So of course we can expect higher resolutions. We can expect better features, better ray tracing performance. And with the machine learning, we can expect also better FPS. Now, this is really huge news. 33 teraflops. That puts it around a 7800 or a 4070, a little bit above 4070 performance. That is a huge jump in the console performance. Now, they go on to say that given that other leaks suggest that the PlayStation 5 Pro may feature some elements of RDNA 4 in its GPU, that would be quite the ray tracing performance increase, as RDNA 3 only marginally improves ray tracing figures over the previous generation. If these leaked performance figures are correct, that suggests potentially substantial step up in ray tracing capability from RDNA 4 GPUs in general, although only time will tell. Now, I also gotta add that I don't think this is going to be RDNA 3 GPU. I think this is going to be an RDNA 4 GPU that we find in the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, it's going to be probably one of the lower end RDNA 4 GPUs, but let's be honest here, RDNA 4 is going to have a huge performance uplift over RDNA 3. So it doesn't matter if it's lower in the stack, it's much improved than what we have currently. And the teraflops, 33.5 teraflops of performance on RDNA 4 is not the same as 33.5 teraflops on RDNA 3. It's going to be a greater performance. So earlier I said it's around a 4070, it's around a 7800 capabilities in graphics performance. It's going to be a little bit more if they're using RDNA 4. We cannot compare the T-flops from generation to generation. It's going to be greater. So this is even better news for the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, this leads me back to Xbox. Now, I said that the PlayStation 5 Pro was coming out later this year. A lot of people didn't believe that this was a thing. Now, where there's smoke, there's fire. Now, there's so much information out there. Sony can come out and say, listen, there's no such thing as the PlayStation 5 Pro. They're not saying anything. We're hearing different outlets reporting on PlayStation 5 Pro leak for months now. Today, we're getting the specifications, or some of the specifications leaked from some of the developer documents. I don't think we can deny the existence of the PlayStation 5 Pro anymore. I don't know who really is at this point. This is a real thing, and it's set to come out in November. Now, Xbox does have a refresh that is coming out this year, but reports are that it's not a more powerful Xbox. That is just a die shrink, so it's more efficient, it'll run cooler, it'll be a little bit smaller, it'll be cheaper to produce, and that's it. It's not going to offer more performance. That's the reports that are out as of now. Now, I hope that that's not the case, but if that is the case and the PlayStation 5 Pro comes out this year, this does not bode well for the Xbox Series consoles. And when GTA 6 comes out next year and the PlayStation 5 Pro is proven to be a superior console to the original PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, that's going to be even a worse situation for the Xbox brand. Now, I'm hoping that Xbox has something in the works, even if it doesn't come out this year, which most likely it's not going to be a more powerful Xbox refresh coming out this year. If they could release something out next year before GTA 6 arrives, then perhaps they can avert some of the disaster that I think would come to the Xbox brand if the PlayStation 5 Pro is the definitive place to play GTA 6. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think that these rumored specifications, this leak that came out today, will make a lot of the PlayStation 5 Pro games run at 60 FPS? Do you think that GTA 6 will run at 60 FPS on the console? Now, I can say this. On the specifications that I am seeing today, I do believe that we're going to have much higher resolution on the PlayStation 5 Pro. I think that the games are going to run smoother. I think they're going to run higher settings. If the specifications are true, I don't see a reason why the PlayStation 5 Pro couldn't run all of the games, or at least most of the games, at ultra settings, because they're going to have a lot of performance, especially if this GPU is based off of RDNA 4. The machine learning capabilities of it, if AI upscaling is indeed on the PlayStation 5 Pro, that is Sony's custom solution, then a lot of games are going to achieve 60 FPS and above. If their PSSR, their AI or their machine learning upscaling is indeed much cleaner than FSR, then this is a huge win for the PlayStation 5 Pro. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Keep it civil, and like I usually say, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.